Hi, welcome to Colleagues Getting Coffee. My name's Annelies James, and today I'm joined by the glorious, fantastic, beautiful and inspirational Vikki Feltham.
Oh, thank you.
You were just like, oh,
thanks. So kind.
thanks, I don't know what to do with myself. Amazing. So obviously I know you through TEDx Gospel at the moment, and obviously lots of other things you're doing, but tell our lovely viewers about yourself.
So I'm Vikki. I work in compliance and law as my day job, but I also 2 years ago was diagnosed with cancer, rather unexpectedly. My daughter was only 1. There was a lot going on. The cancer happened to be in my face, and I ended up having most of my nose removed and then facing chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and countless surgeries since to restore my face to where we are now. It's been a ride.
Oh God, yeah.
And I've learned a lot about myself. I've always been self-curious, but I've definitely been on a huge reinvention and rediscovery of that, what's really inside and what really matters. And it's kind of led me to where I am today. Got a different job, a whole different, I suppose, different kind of life. And I've just applied to start my own charity. After being an ambassador for numerous other charities. I've just launched my own podcast. Life's a little crazy.
So how old were you then when you got the diagnosis?
I was 34.
God, that's young, isn't it?
So I'd had symptoms for 4.5, 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Been seeing doctors constantly. It was only a nosebleed on one side. Just got worse and worse and worse. And then my nose started to change shape, started to get quite painful. And I think I just didn't meet the demographic.
Yeah.
I was a woman trying to get healthcare.
Oh God, don't. That's a whole other episode.
So I think it just went dismissed for so long.
Yeah.
And eventually I got so angry, I couldn't wear sunglasses, it was that sore. And I got so angry and just totally lost it in an appointment and said, there has to be more you can do. Like, you keep saying you can see something up my nose. Can you just test and see what that thing is? Yeah. They took a biopsy, and then I was called back just a few days later and told that it was skin cancer in my nose, which it just seemed wild to me, really. Never heard of it, never came across it, which that kind of started my campaigning, I suppose. I took to TikTok and explained what was happening to me, because I just thought, if I'd have done a Google, the amount of times I Googled my nosebleed, Googled what was happening, if I'd have done a Google and seen that it could be cancer in my nose, I might have asked that question 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And made a doctor think. So that was where I really started to find my voice, was just hoping that someone else might see it and have a different outcome.
Because there's a whole thing, isn't there, like Dr. Google, don't do that. But actually, I do think the NHS is stretched. I do think, I've had ongoing things and they just don't listen. Yeah. And you have to be like, do this thing now. And it's so crazy that you have to do that. Yeah. But I suppose that's just the system, and we have to just get on with it, don't we? But 34 is really young in terms of, and especially having affected your face, that's like the prime lifetime, isn't it? When you're feeling glamorous and you've got your children growing up and you're going out for dinners and whatever, and so it must have been really hard to... Yeah,
it was rough. I think you're right. In your 30s, you've just got past all the insecurity of your 20s, right? And you're finally like, oh, I wish I had the body I had when I thought I was fat. Like, oh God, you get there, don't you? And you're like, I'm fabulous. This is great. And you're on the run to that fit at 40. Like, I love myself. And I was newly married. I was less than a year into my marriage, and I hadn't known my husband very long before we decided to get married. So he's a very attractive man, and all of a sudden I was faced with this, oh my God, like, I'm going to look so differently. And my daughter was a little tiny baby. Children are obviously very focused on their visuals and getting emotions from you. And I thought, is she going to be terrified of me? Like, I'm going to look like a total freak show. What is happening? And I have a big corporate boss girl job, and as millennials, like, we grew up with this image of what a girl boss looks like, right? You're like polished and you're slick and you're the clean girl and you look a certain way, and I didn't realize until it happened how much of my career success I'd like unconsciously, quietly contributed to or attributed to looking a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, never a glamour person, never like played on my looks to get anywhere, I don't think, but I had a quiet confidence of like,
dress well,
I'm a decent looking girl, like, and I can present myself well. And I think whether it was internalized misogyny or what, there was this subconscious message that I'd earned my seat around the board table because I looked a certain way and could hold myself in that room. And all of that crumbled the minute that I was told they were going to remove most of my nose.
God, that's so crazy. What a crazy thing to happen. And also what a long timeline to know there's something going on. And yeah, savage. But I have to say, you are still stunning.
Thank you.
Like, you are gorgeous. And I always
you.
think this about you and I think, you look so gorgeous.
Oh.
Okay, so I suppose that's kind of, obviously TEDx Gosport came up and the theme is connection. And I think that your talk is so much about identity. So this was the moment, the cataclysmic moment in your life that just switched you into something totally different. And what's that journey been like since then? Because actually it's quite a big thing to go through your own journey. Because this is also not that long ago, right?
No. So my nose was moved November 2024. My reconstruction started June 25. So I literally, 5 weeks ago, had my last reconstruction surgery. I've got another 2 to go.
It's literally crazy, that you're in it, but you're also so immediately like, I can help. Like, I can challenge.
Yeah.
Which is a really strong position.
I think I said to the nurses, it's wild that this came up, but they said, oh, you're handling this really well. Like, do you need some help? What's going on? And I said, in a weird way, I was the best person for this to happen to because I discovered like self-development and self-care and exploring your character and who you were really, really early on in life. I didn't have the happiest childhood in the world, and books became my escape from that. And someone put Chicken Soup for the Soul in my hands when I was about 14, and it was like catnip to me. And I was on it then, and I just read self-development books at a rate of sort of 100 books a year. Wow. I went hard, and I committed to doing all the things, but I'd done it in quite a narrow scope. So oddly, the TEDx being about connection too was really apt because it was something else that I'd learned while identity happened. I was a massive lone wolf and I just focused on my career and me being sorted and me being excellent and chasing my own potential. Didn't have many friends, was not connected to my family at all. Like, I had relationships, but for much of my 20s didn't. And those relationships I didn't view them as partnerships. I viewed them as we're two people. And then,
transacting.
It was very kind of, we just both excel at life and then we happen to live together kind of vibe. And then this happened and I had the personal skill set almost to get through the resilience part and the confidence part. And I had a knockback. I didn't leave the house for months. Obviously it hit.
God, I bet.
But then when it got to the point where I thought, I'm not leaving the house with my daughter, I'm not part of her life outside of this house, I can't even go to M&S and buy picky bits, because I'm so embarrassed about how I'm looking. I knew I had to do the hard thing and leave the house and get outside. I knew that my body had just been ravaged by treatment and surgeries and I had to start moving my body. I had that toolbox. But the bits I had to learn were the identity unravelling and then how important other people were. Because all of a sudden I felt like people did notice me and that hit me as a really hard, everyone's judging me, and then slowly I started to realise that actually some people are looking at me thinking, how can I help her? How can I be part of her? And not everyone is against me.
We always think that, don't we? One of the things that strikes me is, the masks that people wear. People often think it's rude. Oh, they're trying not to get germs, but actually often it's because the person is sick. So they're trying not to give the germs.
Yeah, exactly.
But we just so straight away go to the negative, don't we?
Yeah. And those stories were something that made me realise almost the importance of identity and started unravelling that for me, because at Christmas time, so this happened in November, and I just had a hole in my face, and I had this shield they made me that was a mould of my old nose that I wore taped to my face so my daughter wasn't terrified of me. And at Christmas time, the postman was knocking the door, and we'd become quite friendly while my daughter was tiny. And one day he pulled me to one side and he said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, like, I thought that I know where this is going. He's going to ask. And he said, I just want to check that your husband's not hitting you or anything.
Oh, wow.
And he'd created this entire domestic violence at Christmas kind of story about me when I was actually on a cancer journey.
Yeah.
And bless him, he was totally humbled when I was like, oh no, I had stage 4 cancer. And like, he was like humbled by the whole thing. But he just, it almost sparked that thing in me where I thought, these people who are looking at me, they're not looking at me going, oh, what a freak, what's going on with her? They've all got these different stories. And the more I investigated it, the more I learnt that some people thought I'd gone to Turkey and had a nose job for Christmas. And like, so
I
even
love this.
Yeah, even like the judgy looks where people are going like, oh, snobby cow's got a nose down for Christmas. And we just look at people and decide things about them, don't we?
100%,
and I'm just like curious in nature. So I got really into that, and then I felt like I discovered a secret that everyone had to know, because it was so freeing for me. I went from hiding in the house. I taught myself that I could only have a job that was like hidden in a back office. I was applying for like admin roles in schools and things, which from the compliance director role that I'd had, and I was running my own business, and it was so different because I just shrunk my life to fit with all of these stories I'd told myself and taken on from other people. And the minute that I worked out that they were just make-believe, I was like, everyone needs to know this. We all powerful. Do this. So that, I suppose that is what drives me to do it while I'm still living it, is that now I've found the like secret, if you like. I want everybody to know, because even if we learn in live action together, everybody needs to know, and you need to start making the change now.
Yeah, I think your talk is absolutely profound, and I think it's so important. I remember when you first opened your mouth, I was like, oh my God, because it's like so, and this is the thing about TED, it's so universal. And I think the process that all of you are going through is really just honing that message so that it's so clear to people. But I think it's really brave as well that you've decided to step on the stage, like all of you have, to share something. It's nerve-wracking, isn't it? You find it nerve-wracking.
Yes, yeah, equal parts exciting and terrifying.
Yes,
I think.
That's what everyone is saying. I feel really guilty, actually. I'm like, oh, this is awful for you all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things you see nothing but the opportunity and the upside when you apply, and then when you get it and you audition, it feels really important, and you're like, yeah, I really want this, and you're waiting for the audition outcome, and then that outcome lands, and it's like, yeah, you're going to go do this, and here's all the diary entries for everything you need to do, and here's all the coaching you'll receive, and you're like, but can I do it?
And there's also like some parts of the process that you don't even know yet. So I'm now starting to drip feed now the kind of like, this is what the mics are like, and this is what the presentation is, this is what standing on the stage is like. So it's always like, I can't tell you all of the process up front. I have to sort of drip feed it through, because your minds would just go, especially as you're all doing something so personal and sharing something so personal. So how has the process been in kind of honing your idea, and where are you going in terms of after the talk is done? Like, what are you leading on to?
Okay, so the process itself has been amazing. I think the honing of the idea has been like quite an interesting journey for me. I'm endlessly curious about how we get people's personal ideas and philosophies into wider thinking. Like I said, I've loved the personal development world. I have my heroes within it, and I'm always fascinated with how they can just get these little earworms in that take root in your brain and become little seeds.
Love that.
And I think that's really what I've learned from the TED journey. Is I don't think my talk and my idea has really changed from audition, but the tweaks and the feedback that we've had and the way it's grown are more around the psychology and the wider appeal, and making sure that nobody feels excluded from the idea or like it's not for them, but also that it feels really accessible and not too cerebral, I suppose. It's quite off-putting, isn't it, when someone floats this huge philosophical idea and you're like,
it's a really challenging thing to be doing it global and local at the same time. And it's really I'm really mindful of that. Like, I love the day, of course. The day is the energy and the stuff in the room, and it's what makes you all really perform. And afterwards you'll be like, that was amazing, I want to do it again. And I'll be like, calm down. Another year. But it's this weird thing of having it in mind that the world is cruel, right? And the world is massive, and it's full of people who are going to watch the talk and have a million different opinions on it. And so we're always those people who are sense checking and double clarifying and being like, ooh, does that in any way Is that going to be an anywhere red flag? Or, you know, we've done that with everybody, is to really be like, okay, I know you're mentioning that very specific person. Should we do that? Probably not. Like, you know, so it's an interesting thing to get it so global.
Yeah.
But I think your talk really resonates. And when you're saying about earworms, your talk has so many earworms.
Oh, good.
I love it. It's so, so good.
I bet, yeah, it's a real craft what you guys do. And to get so many different ideas like you've got in this event, and then be able to apply that skill set to all of them.
Well, I love it when you all watch each other, because when you start watching each other, you get to enjoy what we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
So you're all having your very specific experiences, but actually when you see each other and you're like, oh my God, they're so good. And we're like, yeah, and so are you.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's, anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
so what's the plan after? So you've mentioned this charity. Is that the big plan after the talk goes live? Have you got a plan? Or?
I think so. I have always wanted to do a TED Talk. And like, I found them quite young, got very into them. I've learned a lot of really big things from TED Talk. I love the way that they are, some of them are small, little, digestible, almost seed talks. And then others are really big explorations of topics that you don't have to go for hours on YouTube. You can just watch the TED Talk on it. And I love that about them. And I always felt like, oh, I hope I have an idea one day that I can share on that red stage. And yeah, I hope I'm there. And here I am. Like, not the most ideal route to take, but
well,
I'm here.
Probably could have done it without the cancer, but hey.
Yeah, it would have been nice. But that was like my calling to TED. And then I landed it. And quite rightly, I started to think, okay, I want this idea to be shared. I want to help as many people as I can. And the charity sort of ran alongside that, because I became frustrated with like the movement that is in the wider industry of what charities are currently offering is very services based. And we've had a lot of movement when it comes to body positivity, a lot of movement when it comes to like very broad mental health, and sometimes specific like suicide, eating disorders, things like that. But there isn't a lot on visible difference that is making real policy change, inclusion change. You don't go to work and there's a visible difference policy, for example.
Yeah, absolutely right, actually, yeah.
It doesn't just affect people who look like me, it affects people who walk into a room and feel differently because they're in a bigger body, or because they're in a smaller body, or because they're shredded from the gym, or because they have lost their hair, or they've chosen to have green hair, they've got lots of piercings and tattoos. Like, everybody feels different at some point, and it seems wild that we only talk about it when it's at the extreme. So I wanted to do something that kind of bleeds together the identity message that I think we all need to hear and test throughout our lives, and the wider change that I think we need across the UK and arguably the world to explore just all being allowed to be different, and policies and systems being built around the fact that we look differently, and that shouldn't mean we're all treated differently.
You're such a great advocate for this, and I think that all of your like boss bitch energy is so perfect for this.
Thank you.
It's like, you know, like it's almost like meant to be. You know, these things happen, and like you said, it was almost like you're the person who could handle this, but you're also like the person who can now lead this.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Like through adversity, right? To the stars, Ad Astra, like to the stars.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of love that.
It's quite nice. Like, if I can take what happened to me and become a lighthouse to people who might struggle more than I did to get through the journey, then that will be a win for me.
I just every time you speak, I'm literally like, oh my God, I want to buy the book. I want to subscribe to the podcast. Like, I'm here for the charity. I'm obsessed with it.
Thank you.
So obviously you are a beautiful brain of all of this self-development stuff. Years and years and years. I want to know 100 books a year, right? What's like 3 self-development-y tools or things you've come across that you just think are what's helped you or what could really help others?
Okay. So I think my first one will come from, oddly, my mum growing up. My mum is very much a stoic, and I didn't realise at the time what was happening, but she has always, even when I was diagnosed with cancer and I had a total freak out because I learned that like when skin cancer goes to your bone, as mine had, the prognosis isn't great, and I had like a 3-day panic attack about only having 6 months to live, and I was freaking out. And all my mum said to me is, don't borrow trouble.
Oh.
Like, if you go to the doctors on Monday and they tell you that, worry about it then.
Yes.
But never borrow trouble. That is what anxiety is. It's what most of your worry is. It's what nerves are. Like, my nerves about the TED is me trying to borrow what's going to happen on that day and bring it into today. So that is a really big thing that anyone who's going through anything, I'm always like, don't borrow trouble from tomorrow. Just like, what's going on right now? What can you fix? What can you do right now?
There's very much the now thing, isn't it? Like, you know, you can't really affect anything else than right in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're stressed about the talk, you're like, go to sleep. I will just go to sleep now, and then I'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like, what can I do right now? Either I can rehearse, I could read my talk.
Yes.
If I've got edits due, I could go and do those and submit them. I could maybe listen to someone else's TED Talk and go on a walk and reassure myself that my speaking style is great. Like, I can do all of these things right now, but I can't do my TED Talk right now and get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah. I'm sure everyone wants to do that right now, but alas.
Just get past it.
Okay, number two.
Number two, I think in a similar vein, would be that your feelings are feelings and are not who you are. Like, we're so quick to think that, I don't know, because you're angry about something or you're sad about something, it says something about you. But your emotions are just a physiological reaction to what's happened to you. And creating that distance between you and all of the chemicals and the bodily responses flying around, I think is a bit of a life hack, is whether it's panic, stress, or even joy. Like, you feel really, really happy. That's an amazing thing. By all means, be present, but then just take that and go, oh, what did I take that made me so happy?
Yeah.
And get that understanding of yourself. It's really easy to go through life and just be carried by feelings and allow those to become the peaks and troughs and not really understand why you feel that way. Like, if you feel really angry because someone's crossed a boundary in a relationship, you're better off having the space and questioning that and then coming back and having a conversation with them rather than living permanently frustrated because that boundary keeps coming up over and over again.
Love it. So good. So good. Obsessed.
Thank you.
I kind of, when you talk about that, it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, I sometimes feel like I'm on a little fishing boat on this ocean that's choppy and moving around. But I still have control of the boat, right? And that's sort of what comes up for me when you say that, because the sea is always going to do what the sea does, right? Life's, right? Yeah. But you've got control of that boat. Yeah. You can decide when the sail goes up, when it goes down, when you hunker down for the night. Like, if it's choppy for a bit, you manage your stress levels. Like, you have to... Interesting. Oh, I love... Oh, we should have just done the whole episode of these.
I'm just on that.
Number 52. Okay.
There's a great book, The Happiness Trap, I think it's called, by Russ Harris. Yeah. And he describes the same concept, but as a sky, and you're just watching the clouds pass. And they're not your clouds. You don't grab onto a cloud and fly with it. Yeah. You just acknowledge, oh, I felt sad right then. Why did I feel sad? Yeah. And you explore that, because that's how you get to know you and don't just... live influenced by everything else outside of you.
We do literally do that, don't we? We never do the why. Why do I feel this way? Because sometimes I'll do that. I'm like, I'm suddenly miserable. Why? And I think back to my day or things that have happened, and I think, okay, I think it was that thing. But when you're running around and you've got Instagram reels to look through and doom scroll and suddenly got a calendar invite for something, you just don't build the why in. But having a minute, just a minute, is the vibe. Love
it is this. That. There's another person doing a talk on it, isn't there? That quiet of self.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to just take that minute to be quiet with yourself and realise, am I reacting or responding? Like, what's happening to me here? And it's really important for your relationships too. Yeah. Because it's easy just to go at each other. But if you each just take that second and go, okay, what's happening in this moment for me? Yeah. And quite often you'll come and say, oh, I felt really threatened when you shouted at me because my dad used to shout at me when I was a child and I don't like it. So please don't shout at me. And that's a much healthier conversation than just, don't shout at me! I'll kill you! Yeah.
I love this. Well, actually, another of our talkers is doing a talk on, like, the hidden conflict in, like, gold and the hidden... oh, God.
Hidden golden conflict.
That's it. God, I love that you know that. I can't even remember. But yeah, it's all about conflict and those moments and the things that we're protecting. So, I love that this is like clearly the show is going to be successful. Okay, third and final, what do you reckon?
I think it's probably my more recent understanding of these stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves and that other people tell us about ourselves. And I suppose a really good example would be, I'd gone through my whole life being like, I'm not a glamorous girl, I'm not a girly girl, I'm not into makeup, I'm not into hair, like, I'm just not that sort of girl, right? And then earlier this year, I did a beauty pageant and was in the final of a beauty pageant.
I'm obsessed with
because
this.
I've just learned that if a sentence starts with "I'm not that sort of person," I need to prove it before I believe it. And whether that's someone else thinks that, oh, Vikki would never do that. Or like, you know, when you go shopping with a friend sometimes and they pick something up and they go, ha, you'd never wear that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will try it on with bells on.
I kind of love this, like challenging all the time, challenging the narrative.
Like see if it survives contact with reality.
Yeah.
And just see, because we all change, right? And you might be a totally different person to who you were 10 years ago. And I mean, 10 years ago, I used to live in high heels. I have a toddler now. There is no way you would get me in a high heel.
I can't even remember the last time I wore heels, honestly. I feel like I've changed so much over the years. And I'm that person, like I've been like shiny corporate girl and now I'm like employed, like entrepreneur girl. But I've changed so much and it's nice to just be like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Because I used to be like, oh, I wish I could be past Annelies, or Annelies at 22 did this. No, that's cool. That was version 1.
Yeah.
This is version 2.2. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's okay to evolve.
Yeah.
And to be this version now, it's fine.
Yeah, that was such a wild thing I had to learn about recovery, because everyone talks about recovery as if you're trying to get back to where you were before it all happened. And with most things you recover from, like divorce, a medical diagnosis, an injury, they fundamentally change and shape you. You learn something from all of it, but we're all so busy trying to get back and prove we're okay. And I think that was a really big help in me learning that these are all just stories. And it's almost like the challenge of a lifetime that everyone should just constantly be trying to prove the stories wrong, or at least test the stories and see, was that still true? Was it ever true? Is it just a little tale someone told me about myself when I was too young to question it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a theatre show, isn't it? You're writing the script as you go. And that's okay if you don't know what happens in the next scene. Yeah. Or if you're even writing it midway through and think, I don't like this scene anymore, I'm going to change this. Like, we are the authors of our life, right? Yeah. And it's about zoning in and being your true self and knowing what script or what life you actually want. Yeah. I think that the message on true self gets a bit muddy at the moment, doesn't it? Because you get a lot of noise around be authentic to you, like be yourself. And quite often they forget the line before, where it's doing the work to understand yourself. Yeah, for sure. It's really easy to take the stories we've been told and the stories we decide for ourselves and just go, that's my authentic self, that's who I am. Yeah. And then forget to actually question, unpick all of that. Like they say, don't they, we're all just hurt children walking around. And you have to unpick and work out where you're hurt. 100%. And I think it's really interesting because I've obviously done like counselling qualifications and bits and bobs, but there's something I kind of know all the levels of my trauma, right? I know all the stuff. And then sometimes you have to be like, and actually that's fine. And I'm okay with all of that. Yeah. And that's kind of made me who I am. And I'm quite happy with it. Choose the positive if you can. Yeah. I think with the trauma and the therapy, it's easy to almost like identify the problem and the traits it's caused, but then the journey sort of stops there. Yeah. And it's just, oh, this is why you feel that way. Yeah. And then we forget to do that next step of, well, do I want to feel that way? What different decisions do I need to make? And what evidence and what social proof do I need to gather to show that my life could look differently? Well articulated. I love that so much. It's literally what I was trying to say, but you just said it so much better. Oh. Do you want to host this? You should. Well, this is what I do. Just come over. Amazing. Well, darling, is there anything I haven't asked you that you'd like me to ask you? I don't think so. No. I just thought, I just love everything that comes out your mouth. I think it's brilliant. Oh, thank you. I'm so thankful that you're part of the show. Thank you. I can't wait for your talk to go live. Oh, thank you for having me. It's been wonderful. Blow people's minds. I hope so. But not in an overwhelming way. No, in a great way. Yeah, like change lives. Yes, positively changing lives. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, gorgeous. Thank you for having me.